Hey guys, so today I am out at the Cloverfield bee yard. We've got 5 nooks out here. We are going to, I'm out here right now by myself. Dad and I did our other 2 bee yards earlier today. I told him I'd go ahead and finish up out here this afternoon, but I'm gonna go ahead and be putting on pollen supplement patties for each of our nooks out here. We've also got some super DFM that we're going to be placing on there. That's a microbial that assists the bees in digestion, just helps strengthen them up overall. They're microbials that are naturally found in the digestive tract of the honeybees. So we're going to be putting that out. I've also got some apivar strips that I'm going to be putting into each of the hives as well. And that's kind of what we're doing. I got myself some gloves because the apivar is a pesticide and the warning label on there says you do not want to have it in contact with your flesh or ingest it or anything like that. So I won't be chewing on the apivar strips if anybody's concerned about that. But so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're just going to be getting them kind of ready for winter. That being said, I'm getting my gloves on here. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera around to be looking at the beehive. And then of course, as I move around to each beehive, I'll move the camera as well, okay? There we go. And I'll try to get back over to the camera and take a look, see if I've got any comments or questions or anything, but frankly, I may forget about you as well. That might happen. But that's the first hive we're going to be starting on, and then we will move on as we go, okay? Now I have already smoked each of the hives before I started the video, so I probably won't be doing that. If I see that they're starting to get a little agitated, we'll go accordingly. It's a little bit windy. I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to hear me talking anyway. Alright, so we got some hive beetle activity here. And that's another thing, I forgot to mention it earlier, but that's another thing that I came prepared for. We take Swiffer sheets, cut them in half. I'll place them on top of one of the supers, and the beetles get caught right up in there. And so that's a great preventative step that we take as well. I'll do that at the end. Now with the apivar strips, I'm going to be putting one in each of the nook bodies, the top and the bottom. And for the nooks that we have 3 levels, I'll put one on each of them as well. For the Super DFM, I'm only going to be putting that down below. I'll be putting it on kind of heavy. And then I'll spread that out. You kind of want to get it on them. They'll clean it off the top as well. They will ingest that, get it into their stomachs. And that'll take care of that. Next thing will be the pollen strip. That's this brown poo looking thing right here. Edible for us. Maybe. Recommended. No. But that's a great source of protein for them. Pollen is their source of protein. So we're supplementing them with that. That'll assist with, just like in the previous video we talked about, that'll assist them in raising the new brood. These are the apivar strips. That's actually 2 of them. So we'll cut that, or we'll break that. It's perforated. Break that, stick that down in here. Put the hive body back on. They're very docile today, which is nice. I can hear them. They sound a little agitated, but they're not really flying. They're not aggressive. But it's a really pretty day, so I don't have to worry about that too much. And then last but not least, here is my hive beetle prevention step. There are also beetle traps that you've seen before on our hives. I like them better, but that's just a personal preference. The Swiffer sheets are working just fine. Neither one is necessarily a more or less expensive way to manage your bees or manage your beetles. So if you are raising them and you are watching this video to determine for yourself which is better, honestly, either. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move you over here. This is what we call Mama Karnika. This was our first breeder queen, and we have raised daughters from her. And we'll continue to do so next year. Now, as you can see, this is a 3-level. So obviously I'm going to be using 3 strips here. I'm still only going to be using the one pollen supplement down at the base. But I will be putting 3 apivar strips in, 1 on each level. Woo, look at that population. That's great. You see them up top. When I came in earlier, right before I smoked them, there was a little bit of, hold on, let me see if you can, yeah, you can see the entrance. So right down in here, I've got an entry hole and an entry hole. So above and below the handle there. And I had it, they were bearded. It just basically means there are a lot of bees inside and it's kind of hot. But after I smoked them, they went on inside. However, having the bees all the way up to the top here, oops, sorry girl. That means I've got a nice, big, heavy population in here. Get on off of there, girls. All right. I'm also seeing some beetles in here. Because I've got a heavier population of beetles in here than I did in the last one, I'm actually going to put 2 of the Swiffer sheets in. I know some of y'all may think I'm nuts for bumping those bees off of there. Truth be told though, when I set stuff down, I don't want to smash the bees. So I'd rather move them from the equipment. This has got some really nice weight to it, which is good. You want them to have a heavy honey store going into winter. So I'm excited about that. It's got a little bit more, a little weight to it. Not as much as the first one, but still not dissatisfying. Give them a little bit of smoke. All things considered, they're very gentle today, which is always nice. Again with the Super DFM. No, this is not the preferred method of disbursement. We do normally have a measuring cup. I wasn't able to find it. And so oftentimes in the field, you have to make do with what you got. And so that's what I'm doing. Get them nice and covered. I'm not going to be putting the Swiffer sheet down here on the bottom one. I haven't seen too many beetles down here, but I also don't want the DFM getting caught up in the Swiffer sheet, pollen, all that kind of pollen patty, all that kind of stuff. I'd rather just leave the food there. The strip goes down in the middle, so I don't mind them sharing a space. All right, let's get everything put back. This level will get a stripper sheet, a Swiffer sheet, excuse me, and and a strip. There are bees all down, up and down either side of these frames. And so you have to be real gentle with your strip. Oh, look at I'm pushing that right back out. You get a Swiffer sheet, you get a Swiffer sheet. But in case you didn't guess, what they'll do is they'll walk up and down those frames, brushing up against the apivar strip. Now this is varroa mite control. Beekeeper that does not believe he has or she has varroa in her hive or his hive, setting themselves up for failure. You have varroa in your hive. Simple as that. To what level? That's what makes the difference. That's where it matters. Now with this apivar strip, we do it at a time of year. This is the first time we've done it, but we want to do it at a time of year when we do not have to worry about harvesting honey for sale, because as I said about human, skin contact, it's also not any good for human consumption. So the honey that is in here is for the bees and the bees alone. Oh shoot, I forgot the other Swiffer strip right here, Swiffer sheet. But it's for the bees. The honey is for the bees alone, so we're not worried about contaminating the honey here. All of that honey will be gone, as will the strips, by the time we are worried about honey for next season. So we're not losing anything, we're not messing ourselves up in any way. But we are taking very good care of our bees. For those of you that didn't see that, I just bumped a batch of them all over me. You want to be careful how you bump your bees. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move us over to the next hive. That's really all we're doing. But hey, Rebecca, I'm gonna go ahead and move us over to one of the other beehives. Do I have any? It's not moving. Okay. We'll do this one next, and as you can see, I've already got the pollen patty over here. All right. Look at that. Nice. You always want to be able to open your beehive up and see a nice big healthy colony. The time of year determines the number of bees necessary for what we would constitute as a large healthy colony. January, for instance, is not a time that you want to see this many bees in your hive, but this time of year, September, October, maybe even November, you kind of want to see a nice little population of bees in there because they're still harvesting pollen and nectar from the fall blooms. That for us, that had a nice weight to it too. For us, it's just more food for them to take into winter. I cannot stress enough, you want them to have a lot of food going into winter. Yeah, girls, I'm agitating myself. I hear you. Ooh! Look at that. Look at that. All right, they're on me. I'm gonna go grab the smoke. Give them something else to think about for a moment. Some of them are going to fly. Most of them are just going to walk right on back down into the colony, which is what we want. They'll clean this DFM off of each other, and that's how they're going to get it into their system. I can't remember if I've said that or not already. Seeing how big this hive is, I'm going to make sure I give them a nice big dose. Still only going to do it on this bottom level though. Pollen supplement. They can chew through the paper. This just stops them from having to. Lets them get to the supplement faster. They'll walk around up on top of it and they'll get to it that way. Much easier. Not as much weight on that center one, but still not bad. All right, girls, come on. Yeah, well. Didn't see that many hive beetles on here, so we're only going to do the one Swiffer sheet for control. But every nook body gets an apivar strip. Good weight. You definitely want to be careful how you insert it. You don't necessarily want to damage the wax, but you certainly don't want to harm your bees. If that can at all be avoided. All right, let's go to the next one, huh? We got two more. And I'll speak a little louder because apparently somebody's mowing their grass right now. Thank you for your patience while I collect all my tools. And let's go. Yeah. Again, I got bees all over the inner cover up in the top, indicative of a nice big healthy colony. And that is what we want to see. The larger the colony, the better their chances of being able to fight off pests and diseases, that sort of thing. So viruses, parasites, all of that. You want a nice big healthy hive. And that is what it looks like we have here. They sure do love their propolis. Man. all that's just propolis right there. It's much cooler out here today than it has been. By no means is it cold, but it's cooler, more comfortable to work in than the 90+ degree heat that we've been dealing with. But that does not mean you're not going to get out here and sweat. Good golly. All right. Most success we've had pulling colonies through the winter started with Super DFN. So for those of you who are beekeepers, if you are on the fence, I would like to recommend getting off of the fence and go ahead and get yourself started up with the Super DFN. That stuff is awesome. The Plus P801 helps counter the effects of pesticides on crops. Oh goodness. Pesticides on crops, which of course if you're in a heavy agricultural area like we are, Kentucky, southern Indiana, that sort of thing, then you definitely want to look at that Plus P801. If not, well then, you know, that's up to you. We, however, love it. Once a month, it goes down. And it does not affect your honey crop at all because the bees ingest it, and it's those very microbials that make honey, that help them make the honey anyway. So you definitely want it in your hive. Well, I'm sorry. Technically, you want it in your bees. Always gonna forget one. We'll put it up here. That'll be fine. Last one. Everybody with me still so far? As if I could hear you respond. Let's see what we got. Any comments, questions, anything like that? So far, no? Okay, cool. Let's get to it. Oh, I'm gonna move y'all over here a little bit closer. Don't worry, I'm gonna angle it. How's that? In fact, let's bring you down a little bit and get you close to the hive, huh? There we go. All right. Now you'll be in there with me. Whew. So excited to see so many bees. And they're so calm. Goodness. This is perfect. You've seen me do it, so you know that there are times that I will work the honeybees without wearing my protective gear. It's not something I would ever recommend doing, especially not for new beekeepers. You always want to get yourself protected. Wear your suit, wear your gloves, wear your veil, long pants, light colors, all that kind of stuff. You definitely want to make sure you're doing that. Or at least that's what I recommend. Whoa! There are walnuts on the ground, so I gotta be careful. I always recommend it, but I figure you're grown, you make your own decision. You get stung if you want to. You're gonna get stung if you don't wear your protective gear. It's just that simple. Today is one of those days that I probably could have gone without wearing my protective gear and not had to worry about being stung. Or apparently smoking them anymore. All right, Super DFM. That stuff is just great. Put their pollen down. I put one of the pollen patties up top, but that's only because I forgot to put it down below. You always want to get the pollen as close to the brood as you can, because the brood is what the pollen is used for. So, I mean, they'll get it up top and they'll get it down there to them. They're just going to have to walk a little further. And I could have saved them a trip. But whatever. That's a drone. I don't know if you saw it or not. A little late in the year, so seeing a drone is a little bit surprising, but it's not my first one that I've seen today. So the time is coming, for those of you who are not aware, the time is coming for the hive to collectively decide that there is no more use for the men. Their wings will be torn from their bodies, and their bodies will be thrown still alive from the hive so that they can starve to death outside. There just isn't any more use for them, and since there is no use, there is no sense in feeding them according to the efficient hive mind inside of the beehive. So out they go. And when more are needed next year, next spring, this coming spring, whatever, those eggs will be laid. Not that I believe I have any feminists following me on my pages. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Anyway, but for those of you who might be, what do you think of that? Ripping the mobility off your man and throwing him outside to fend for himself for what little bit of time he can last, huh? Fun times. All right, that's it. Put the lid back on. Oh, nope, it's not it. Did that just blow off? Huh. Damn it. There we go. That's it. All right. Hey, Amanda. We're going to flip this back around look at my pretty mug. I'll raise this back up. And let's talk about it for a little bit, huh? Let's come back over here. All right. So, did you say, hey girl, to me? Or was somebody, girl? Anyway, okay, so today you heard what I talked about at the beginning of the video. We got all that stuff on. You saw that we didn't forget anything to the best of my knowledge. We also have just over here to my right, we have a 5-gallon, there we go. I'm still one of the girls. We saw a 5-gallon bucket that is filled with syrup. They have access to it. Many of you should remember from last year that's how we get syrup to the bees in the fall and even winter time during warmer days. If they know that it's there, they'll go for it. But that's how we get food to them. Now they all have a very large stock of honey, which is nice. You definitely want to make sure that they have honey because you always want to make sure that they have the natural food sources above and beyond the supplements. The supplements are exactly that. They are there simply to supplement what they're getting naturally. What they get, oh my goodness, shut up. What they get naturally is far healthier. So that's what you want to make sure that they've got plenty of access to. So that's what we did. Now tomorrow I think we're going to be coming out and putting out some more 5-gallon buckets of syrup because like I said, several of the nooks, several of the nook bodies had nice heavy weight to them, but not all of the nook bodies. Those lighter ones may have brood in them, but going into these cooler months that we are now on our way into, we're not going to get a whole ton of brood. You definitely don't want a whole ton of brood. You want enough for them to have their winter bees to be able to get ready for spring. Those bees are going to live longer. They're a bit sturdier, that sort of thing. So those lighter nook bodies may have brood in them. Wherever they have space, wherever they don't have brood, you want them to have pollen or you want them to have honey. So we are going to provide them with a really thick syrup that won't take them long to prepare, to cap, so that going into winter, everything is full and they're ready to rock and roll. I don't see any questions, and I'm not necessarily prepared to stand here all day talking to a camera looking at myself, as pretty as I am. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. Like the other 3 videos that I did the other day, I will be putting this onto Facebook. Not Facebook, what's that other thing that I do? YouTube. I'll be putting it onto YouTube. I just haven't yet for the other ones. So sorry about that. They'll get to YouTube. I'll repost to Facebook. You guys can post your comments there. Other than that, hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to my YouTube page. If I see some activity there, that might encourage me to be a little bit more active. So you guys help me help you, okay? Y'all have a great day.